Okay, looks like we can get started. Most people have probably joined by now. So hello and welcome to our webinar. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking your time to talk with us today. My name is Angie Warner. I'm with Assessments 24/7. Our webinar today is going to be some dashboard tips and tricks and how you can use your assessments dashboard like a pro. A few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you. And also, if you do have any questions throughout, which we thoroughly encourage, please put those in the Q&A. Any questions that are in the chat box will not be answered. We'll answer them throughout the presentation, but make sure that they're in the Q&A section. Also, at the end, you'll receive a survey. As always, we get information for these webinars and what they're based on from your feedback. So we really, ask that you go through those surveys and let us know things that you would like our webinars to be based on in the future. And so now I'm going to introduce you to Suzette Chaparro. She is the VP of Client Success here. She is coming to us from Wenatchee, Washington. She is one of the high D styles on our team. Many of you may have watched her through virtual tours, or maybe you've actually worked with her directly for information on your dashboard. She's become essentially a master of the dashboard, and she's a guru on how to, make sure that you can utilize the dashboard to your biggest potential. So she's extremely knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the dashboard, and there's no better person to share with you how you can maximize your potential and using the dashboard successfully. So she will have a live Q&A at the end. And we will also welcome our CEO, Brandon Parker. And so feel free to put those questions that you have in the Q&A section, and we will answer some of them live. And without further chatting from me, we'll welcome Suzette to give us her tips and tricks.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I am really excited to go over sort of our FAQs, tips and tricks of this dashboard that I have accumulated over the years of really working on the support team at this company. So 7+ years, I have accumulated a lot of things that I hear people ask about. And really just some tips that I find a lot of account holders don't realize about their account. So we're going to go over those things today. One thing to keep in mind is this is not going to be a full virtual tour of your account. We're not going to go through every aspect in depth on how to use everything. This is really for those of you that have been using your dashboard with us for a little while now, are a little more familiar with it. So if you're brand new to the dashboard, if you're one of our new account holders, haven't been able to kind of log in and poke around, number one, you're going to want to watch our recorded virtual tour, which I'm going to point out during this time, or read that instruction guide that we send you when you get a new account with us first before watching this webinar. And then at a later time, when you're a little more familiar with it, you can watch this webinar, because again, this is really for those of you that are a little more familiar and just kind of want to learn further about some things you may not know about, and then kind of clarify some frequently asked questions we get. So let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be the home page of your account. So this is what a majority of your accounts will look like when you log in. And the first thing we're going to go over is actually the Resource Center. I find that a lot of our account holders do not realize how many resources they have just right at their fingertips by logging into their account. So if we scroll down here now, keep in mind everyone's Resource Center might look a little bit different, just kind of depending on what assessments you're using with us, things like that. So it may not look exactly like this, but the majority of you are going to have a lot of these options. So first things first is what I just spoke about, the virtual tour of your account. So this is going to be a fully recorded virtual tour of how to use every aspect in your account. And you can just start that tour here. It takes around 20 minutes to go through the entire thing, but it's going to show you how to use everything in your account. You can also jump to individual videos. So maybe you haven't used your account in a little while. You need to come in there, you need a refresher. You kind of have a hard time maybe with one of the certain pages. Just jump to that page. You can go over just setting up your assessment links here, how to use group reporting, how to use 360 assessments. You can jump to those videos or watch the entire tour here. So that is always available to you just right on your Resource Center. The second thing you're going to see is training materials. So you actually have training materials to a majority of the assessments that you have access to. And you can just hit the trainer materials button. It's going to take you to our trainer materials page where you can access the different assessment materials we have. And you'll notice that right on the home page of your account, you have passwords specific to your account, and you'll just use those passwords to access the training materials. Now, that can be debrief guides, PowerPoint presentations, email templates, team building games. The list really goes on and on for those. And whenever you have some time, click those training materials and go see what you have at hand. Those are all just available to you for being an account holder. Now, our certified practitioners, that means those of you who have been certified with us in one or more of our assessments, you have your own password for certified practitioners only. So it's a separate password and it gives you access to your much more in-depth materials and a bigger list of materials for those assessments as well. So make sure to use your certified only password, which gives me a great segue into the next link here, which is your certification. So we offer many different certifications for our assessments. You can take a look at more information there. And just like I mentioned before, when you get certified with us, you do get access to those more in-depth training materials that you can use at any time. So you can always reach out to us if you have more questions about that. Below that is going to be marketing one sheets. These are PDF one sheets that tell you a little bit about these major assessments, why you might be taking them, a little bit of historical information on those as well, but I'll just click on DISC for now. It's just going to be some information on DISC, again, why you might be taking it, some history on this assessment, and you'll notice that you can brand these PDFs to your own company. So click in the footer, add your own company information, and use those for yourself to have on hand, as well as to use for any of your assessment users. So those are just available to you right here. The next one is going to be sample reports. On this page here, you can see a sample of every single PDF that we have available to you. Go there, see what might be on hand that maybe you're not using. You can see full samples of those, and you can actually get in contact with us to add other assessments to your account that you may not have access to. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get in touch with us really easily at the end of this webinar, but just something to take a look at. As an account holder, you have access to demo assessments. This is another thing I notice a lot of account holders do not realize they have access to. So as an account holder, you can ask for complimentary assessments to take for yourself before you start using them with your assessment users. So take an assessment in full and get your own report complimentary without having to use one of your own credits. So you'll just go here, fill in a little piece of information that you send off to our support team. They're actually going to send you a demo link where you can take that assessment yourself complimentary. One thing to keep in mind, it does not come from your account. It is not a complimentary credit for your account. So this assessment's not going to be branded to you. You won't have access to it through your account at a later time, but it does give you that option to take an assessment in full and go through that yourself. And then of course, we are on one of these webinars. All of our previous webinars are in the Resource Center as well. A couple of other things on your homepage that I notice a lot of our account holders are not aware of, mostly because they're actually new options we've added. One of them is transferring your credits. So over here in your available assessments area, you have access to viewing all of the credits you have if you're a pay-as-you-go client, meaning that you purchase your credits before you send out assessments. You actually have the option of transferring credits of the same price at any time. So any of your assessments that are a certain price, let's take a DISC for example, you can transfer these to any other assessment that is the same price as that assessment. So in this case, of course, I don't know how we got logged out, but we're going to log back in here. Of course, I timed out as I was talking. And we're back. So transferring credits. If you have, let's say, DISC credits that you want to transfer to something else, you can select that assessment and it will actually tell you in the next dropdown what other assessments you have that you can transfer it to. So the other assessments that are the same price. Let's say you want to transfer some DISC credits to your motivators assessment. You're just going to put those two in, however many credits that you want to transfer, submit that. It's always going to ask you if you're sure. You're going to select OK. and the credits will be transferred successfully. So you can do that at any time. Another option that we've just added to your homepage is generating invoices. So you can actually generate invoices from any payments you've made through your account at any time. This is a really popular option because I know a lot of you, instead of just those receipts you might receive when you make those purchases, you need a full invoice for your accounting. So you can actually run through certain dates of payments, and you have an option to add a completely new line of text to that invoice. If you have a number, fiscal number, PO number, whatever that may be, you have an option to add a line of your own text to that invoice, generate that here. All of your invoice PDFs will always be saved on the right-hand side, and you can download them at any time. So this is if you don't want to use just those receipts that you receive when you purchase with us and you need the full invoice. Our next thing I'm going to go over here is your account settings. And before that, I know we've had quite a few people join us in the last few minutes. So just kind of a reminder of those housekeeping areas here is that any questions you have, please put in the Q&A section. That is the only way they're going to be answered. Any statements, comments you have, you can just add those to chat, but any questions that are entered into chat won't be answered. So put those in the Q&A section. And this is being recorded and is going to be sent out to all of you within 24 to 48 hours after this webinar ends. So just keep that in mind. No slide decks today, no PowerPoint presentation. I am using a live dashboard to show you how all of this works. So there will be a recording of this though. Another thing I notice a lot of account holders are not aware of is updating your own branding on your account. So under your account settings tab and on your account page, you'll see that if you scroll down past all of your company information, you have a logo option. This is the logo that's going to appear on the front cover of your reports. Now, when you set up an account with us, we do these things for you. So we ask you for this information, we size your logo correctly and put it right into your account so that you don't have to do those steps. And you are always welcome to send us your updated logos. If you change your logo, change company, change branding, any of that, you can always send that to us and just say, hey, I updated this. Can you please add this to my account? We are happy to do that for you. It takes us just a couple of minutes. We do this all the time, and we can size it perfectly to your report and your account. But you are able to do this yourself at any time if it's just quicker for you and easy for you. So again, the place on your account page is actually going to be the logo that appears on the front cover of your reports. And there's a recommendation on how to size those particular images and how to save them. So you'll just see those recommended graphics here, and you can upload the new logo here. Any reports going forward are going to have your new branding on them. Now for your actual account pages. So what you see when you log in your header and your footer, as well as what your assessment users see while they're taking the assessment with you. You can change that under account settings and header footer here. Pretty easy page to use. You'll see that you can change between your header and footer settings up at the top. All you're going to do is either type in new text or upload a new logo here as well. And if you're HTML familiar, you can always edit your HTML code here or keep it in the design box. Anything you change in this area, you're going to want to save. And again, you can switch between your header and footer sections here. So you can update those at any time. I'm just kind of looking on what our next option is here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go into your assessment access links. So if you're familiar with your account, you are familiar with the fact that you need to create assessment access links to invite users to take assessments with you. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that page, and you'll see some demo links here that have been created before. We're going to create a new assessment link so that I can just kind of pull up some new information. So this should look all familiar to all of you that have used an account with us and sent out assessments. This is how you create your assessment. The most frequently asked question I get on creating links is your email options. You have two email options here. And the question I always get is, why is there two? Where are they coming from? When are they going out? The reason we have two emails is because there's two different ways of inviting users to take the assessment with you. So we give you options on editing one of those emails, depending on how you want to invite those users. Email number one is going to be sent out to your user if you are simply copying the link that you've created, pasting it into your own email, and sending that out to anyone that wants to take the assessment. They're going to click on this, put in their own name and email address, and be taken to the assessment. And I actually want to show you this page here. So I'm going to pretend like I just followed one of the assessment links. It takes you to this page here. They're going to put in their own name and email, and they're going to proceed to the next step. When they proceed, they go directly to their assessment, and they are also sent email number 1, which really just confirms they've registered. It says, thank you for registering. Here's your own link with access back to your assessment if you need it. So it's just really telling the person, thanks for registering, confirming that they've registered. You can edit these emails to say whatever you'd like. Delete and rewrite the subject line. Same with the text in the body of your email. You do not want to edit anything in between the percent signs. These are merge variables, and they are going to be automatically input to the email when it gets sent out to that user. So you will leave all of these merge variables in the email. Those are going to be automatically updated when the email is sent. But all of this other text, delete, rewrite it, add your own information. It's completely up to you. So again, email number 1 is going to be sent if you're just blasting out the link to anyone that needs to take an assessment and they are registering themselves, okay? Email number 2 is going to be sent if you are pre-registering everybody from your home page. You may or may not be familiar with that particular area, but on the home page of your account, there is an area where you can choose a link that you've created, and you can actually put in someone's name and email and hit send. You're pre-registering them, so they're not actually doing that part themselves. They are getting this email directly from the system. Because it's the first time they're getting notified of this, it's written a little bit differently. It's telling them complete your own assessment. You've been invited. Here's your link to take your assessment. Just like the other email, delete, rewrite, edit any of this email you want, leaving everything in between the percent signs. Again, that's what our system does for you. You can also just leave these emails as is. I have a lot of account holders who are completely fine with the generic text, and you can just leave them and not make any edits at all. And next, I'm going to show you kind of what this pre-registration looks like. So if you want to do the invite from the home page, once you've created an assessment link here, you're just going to go right back to your home page and use the send assessment box. And all you do here is select a link that you've created, put in someone's name and email, and hit send assessment email. And they're immediately going to get that email number 2. So just a little refresher here. Email number 1 is going to be sent to the user if you're just blasting out the links, letting everyone register themselves. Email number 2 is going to be sent to the user if you are sending it from your home page. The next portion I'd like to go over is managing users. There's actually quite a few things on your users page that I've noticed a lot of account holders are not aware of. So if you go to managing assessments and then assessment users, you'll notice that everyone that's been registered for you is registered within your account is going to be listed here. So you have a lot of demo people in this demo account I'm showing you. There's a few different things here. So we have a send reminder feature. This is really just an email feature. So this is allowing you to email anyone in your assessment users list from your account. You're going to select multiple people on the left, hit send reminders to. An email template's going to pop up that looks very familiar to the ones I just showed you. Just like those emails, you can edit these, rewrite them to say whatever you would like, whatever you want the reminder to be, please take your assessment by a certain time, whatever you want that to be, you can send that out. Once you hit send, each person that is checked off is going to be emailed their own individual email. The next one is managing or editing multiple users at one time. And there's actually some new features in here. So even if you are familiar with this particular button, you might not know we've made some updates. So again, you'd select multiple users on the left, select the blue button here, edit selected users, and you have 3 different options. You can actually turn on everyone's report capability. So if you did not do that before when you were creating your link, you did not allow them to view reports, but now you want them to go in and see their reports. You can turn that on, save it, and then you can use your send reminder feature to let everybody know that their report is now ready for them on their assessment page. You can also change multiple users into different groups. So maybe you've created a new group later on and you want to separate people further. Maybe you didn't have a group for them at all in the beginning and you want to organize your list a little bit more. Once you've created a group, they will all be under this section here. You can select one, save it, and everybody you've checked will be moved to that group. You can also add other assessments to a user or a set of users. So if you have credits for other assessments in your account and you want maybe, you know, these 4 people in particular to now take a EIQ assessment, you can add that. It will go on to all of their assessment pages. They can be invited again with that send reminders page to go take that assessment. You do have to have credits for the assessment in order for that to work, but that is a way to mass add different assessments without having to create a whole new link and do a new invitation process. The next thing here is going to be downloading reports. So this is actually a way to download a mass amount of reports at one time into a zip file. This is really helpful if you are a high usage account who's maybe having hundreds of people go through assessments at one time, and you don't want to get hundreds of PDFs emailed to you at one time. Maybe you need to send them all to the printers. Well, a lot of reasons why you might need these in a zip file for yourself. Just like we did before, select multiple users, go to download reports selected. You're going to get a list of everyone's reports and if they're ready or not with little green check marks here, and you can just download the zip file here, and that's going to put everyone's PDFs into a zip file for you. It can take anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds to download, just kind of depending on how many reports you have in that list. The next thing I always like to show our account holders that really is not obvious, but is a good tip, is going to be selecting the gear next to any user's name and then hitting the edit button. You'll notice that their information will appear, contact information, and then you'll see a return link at the bottom. This link is particularly for this user. So it's their individual link that will take them right back to their assessment wherever they left off. This is helpful if you have a user coming to you going, I deleted my email, I don't know how to get back. I went to it a long time ago. I have no idea where that email went, the invitation. You can always hit that gear, select edit, grab their return link and email it to them yourself, and it'll take them right back to their assessment wherever they left off. Next thing here is going to be these red trash cans. Not a lot of account holders are aware of this as well. So if you see these little red trash cans next to some users' names, this means they have not completed an assessment that has been assigned to them, and you can delete them. The credit will actually be returned to your account as well. So as long as a user has not completed any of the questionnaires assigned to them, you can delete them, credit will return. Once they have completed even one of the questionnaires, even if they're assigned to multiple different assessments, you will not have that option. So you'll see these are blank. These are people who've completed assessments. But other than that, you can always do that. The final thing I'm going to show you about your account is group reporting. You may or may not be familiar with this. I always like to point it out because not a lot of account holders are actually aware of the group reporting options that we have, or maybe they're intimidated by it. They don't want to create it. They are so simple to make and they're complementary in your account. So if you just hover over your managing assessments tab and go to group reporting, you're going to notice on the left you have some options. So you can select the type of group report you see here on the left first. This is the first thing you're going to do. You can see samples of every group report we have to offer in the system by going to that sample reports page I mentioned in the beginning in your resource center. So take a look at the team reports, see what might be most helpful to you. Select the type of team report that you want to create. In this case, a really popular one is the team wheel for DISC. You can then use your filters beneath that to look for certain users in your account. So there's a date filter for completion dates. There's a group option to look for certain groups, certain people under links. You'll then see those people appear on the right, and you can select them, add them to the group report with this button, and they will move over to the left. Now, the reason it hasn't created a report for you yet is actually because we give you the option to keep adding users to this list if you want to. So maybe you had some users that weren't a part of the same group and you need to go grab them out of the list. So you can find them here with your filter, checkbox them, and add them to the report. So you can keep adding people to one report. They do not have to be in the same link. They do not have to be in the same group. You can add anyone who's taken that assessment with you to the group report. You then have a couple of options as far as saving and creating this list. So you can add a report label, which I know not a lot of account holders are aware of these next two things I'm going to go over. A report label is going to show up on the front cover of your team report. So you can name this, whatever you'd like. Maybe it's a certain company, maybe it's a certain group of people. You can put a label on that, and once you generate it, it'll be on that front cover. And you can also add them as a saved list. So maybe you very intricately added multiple people to this list from different groups and different links, and you don't want to have to create that and find them every single time you create a group report and you're going to make multiple group reports. Add them as a new list. So you've created your list, you can add a new one here, and you can name this whatever you want to name that list, save it. And now anytime you come to make a group report, that list will be saved in your saved previous reports list options, and you can select your list B and just grab your report and download it without having to create the whole list of people again. Once you're ready to generate the report, you're just going to hit the generate report button. Can take anywhere from 10 to 20, 30 seconds, depending on the amount of people on your report and what type of report it is. It will then generate into a PDF for you, and you can download that, save it, send it off, whatever you'd like to do. Another thing I know a lot of our account holders are not aware of is our DISC collaboration report. It's actually a DISC matching report. So this is another option for you under your managing assessments options. And this is going to compare two DISC reports side by side each other, or really match two DISC reports against each other. Just like our group reporting page, you can use the filters to find certain users, but all of your users are going to appear on the left. It's going to look a little different from your group report page. You can then select multiple users, add them to the report. They're all going to appear in the middle. And this is actually a really cool screen to just know about. It's going to tell you with blue or orange bars how much two DISC styles match together, or really compare together. So you'll see the more orange a bar is, the less their DISC styles match. The more blue they are, the more the DISC styles match. You can use the slider up top to see who matches the most, and you can see who has the least match here. Once you want to create a matching report between two people, so let's say you want to see Joanne and Suzette's report together, you'll just click the little PDF button, just like the group reporting. That is going to take anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds to download, and their DISC actual reports and data are going to be side by side each other in one PDF, so that you can compare and contrast those DISC styles. Great for team building, new employees, whatever you're using this for, relationships. It's a great matching report for DISC. So that really wraps up sort of my main FAQs I always get, main points I usually end up talking about on these virtual tours. One thing I do want to mention is how easy it is to get access to our support team. So we are always here for you to answer any and all questions you have about your account. You're never alone using it. You don't have to try and, trudge through anything on your own. If you just hover over resources on the top and go to our support page, this is actually a place where you can email us directly from your account, any question that's needed. This email is going to go to our support team email, which 5 people are covering at all, different times. There's 5 of us who get copies of this, and someone's always watching it. So you're going to get an answer within 24 hours. Honestly, usually a lot less than that. It's usually within an hour or 2 at the most. We kind of give that 24-hour sort of general timing just in case, but we usually get back to you really quickly. This is the quickest and best way to get in touch with our support team. So don't hesitate to use this. And also under your resources tab is a full instruction guide written out on how to use everything in your account, as well as a list of our FAQs that we've gathered over the years. So I am actually going to open it up. I don't know if we got live questions or anything that needs to be answered live, but anything I can go over, you let me know, Brandon or Angie.
Okay, well, thank you, Suzette, for giving the summary of all the main questions you get asked about the dashboards. There are so many aspects to the dashboards, and the general components are covered in the virtual tours and whatnot. One thing is that we always do make it available for a human to actually talk to you about your dashboard. And Suzette does virtual tours, which you can schedule with her as well directly, and to utilize our support with any questions that you might have. As far as questions in general, I mean, let's open this up. Anybody that has a question of any kind, feel free to type it in and we'll answer them live right now. One question that did get brought up had to do with languages and how do we utilize your languages for the different reports. And I answered that in the chat, the question answer piece. But on the assessment link page, you have the options to choose if you'd like the users to complete the assessment in a particular language and what report you would like received. So there's two parts to it. In some cases, they want the individual to complete it in, let's say, Spanish, but receive an English report. So the combination is there. And that is another question that I get sometimes is, can we get one report in a particular language, but have the individual complete it in a different? And that is, the answer is yes. With that said, if you don't have a particular language that you would like to use, you don't see it in your dashboard, let us know, email support. Besides that, any other questions, feel free to type them in. If anything, know that we're here for resources at whatever level needed, and our support team and Suzette will help you out with any place you might get stuck or questions, or if there's a feature or an addition that you think would be great for the system, to please let us know and send us an email and we can get it on the list. You know, our dashboards have been built over the years with feedback from clients. So let's see, I think we did just get a couple. Perfect. If you have specific questions for your account, email us directly and we can talk to you specifically about it. When it comes to, if you are new, we recommend that you go through the virtual tour. It might answer your questions or give you a good a summary. And then if you would like the one-on-one with Suzette or someone from our team, go ahead and email us that as well. Okay, so this was a great question here about the send reminders. So one thing that we didn't mention that is going to answer this question about using the send reminders, uses the feature a lot. However, the email always defaults back to the last thing that you said. That's the way it functions at the moment. However, your account can have templates. And this is something that we can help you manage. So let's say you have 6 different emails you like to send through your send reminders area. Maybe one of them is, hey, you can go access your report now, or this is a reminder to complete it, or whatever it might be. You can send us your 6 emails. We can build them into your account. And then when you go to send reminders, you'll now have a drop down that would allow you to select which one you want to use for whatever your send. So if that helped answer that question, that's the answers, is that send reminders does have a template ability, and we would work with you on building your templates. So go ahead, Suzette, would you like to add anything to that?
No, that was perfect. Yeah, I was actually going to mention that to you as someone asked about the templates that you wanted to mention. So perfect. Okay.
All right. Yeah, any other questions? Feel free to drop them in. Or if you think of something later, go ahead and send us an email. You know, the biggest thing from my perspective is that we really do put a lot of effort into making sure that we're accommodating what works best for you, what you want, how we can make this easier and more efficient. And we're constantly working on this software and the systems. I mean, right now we're engaged in some pretty significant server upgrades and server-related maintenance. We've got a team that's constantly on top of that. And you will be seeing some improvements to the technology and the platforms as time goes on, as we always do. So yeah, I don't have anything else if we don't have any other questions. And once again, thank you, Suzette. And thanks to all of you for working with us and partnering with us. And know that we are part of your team. You know, we're an extension of you. Whatever you need that we can help you with, we are here, and we'll get back to you quickly through any kind of email, phone call at any time. So thanks again, everybody.